Hi everyone, welcome to today's altcoin Bible. I'm going to crack straight in. Bitcoin's still struggling beneath that 200-day moving average, and I'm really not confident in the market, overall to have that next explosive move until Bitcoin does reclaim that level. So until then, it's still very choppy. There's a few pumps. There's a lot of retracements right now. Altcoins look like they've had a really strong move in anticipation of a close above the 200. Now they're all pulling back and bleeding out against Bitcoin. So it's a dynamic I'm watching very, very closely. We also have inflation numbers and some more ideas about how big the rate cut is going to be in November with release of data tomorrow. So keep that on your radar. And also we're heading towards the US election, which is kind of holding most risk markets in a bit of a state of suspension right now with the stock market and also crypto. So let's crack into my first chart here. And I'm actually going to start with the danger zone. And I might be coming from a bit of a left field position, but SUI we've been talking about a lot. I've been covering it in newsletters and whatnot, and it is the hot thing right now. When that happens, we do want to be a little bit cautious with the sentiment getting a little bit overheated and also the technicals. Now, while SUI is so strong, daily, weekly, monthly, it looks incredible. It looks very similar to Sol did back in the day before it exploded out from single digits. But at this juncture, we do have to be very, very careful with that viewpoint that it's just going to keep going. So in the short term, I'm reasonably concerned, and I think it was raised in the graduates group as well by Tim, I think it was, and I've been monitoring it just closely, which is the triple peak bearish divergence. So you see price here along this blue line is getting higher into all-time high resistance, while the momentum is actually falling away, and it's falling away quite significantly. It's only that it's in the 70 region, so this is why I still have a bit of cup of hope here, thinking that especially in bull markets and when cryptos are really, really strong, especially when they're consolidating at an all-time high level, they can just invalidate bearish divergences, just rip straight through and then have a consolidation much higher. So for mine, the base case is that it's going to do exactly what my yellow squiggle has indicated here, breaks through all-time high, hits the 1.618 Fibonacci extension, comes back for a larger retracement back to that level. But I want to put on everyone's radar, this is my danger zone because we're running into resistance and we're starting to see a bit of a sell-off. Now, I still think this could be a little bit of a fake out before that pulse, but yes, you cannot ignore a very solid, triple peak bearish divergence on the daily. So I wanted to throw that out there. Okay, APTOS. This is something I haven't covered of late, but it runs in a very similar path to SUI, and the charts look fairly similar, if I'm honest, and it is my one to watch. So with SUI, we saw a pretty significant break of a resistance level, turn support before it had a pretty aggressive run. Now I think APTOS, if it can actually close above this point of control of volume and also this key overhead resistance level, flip it as support in here, I'd be a big buyer. So that would be around the 9.5 area, let's just say 10 even. I think once it's done that, it's going to run very aggressively towards this almost all-time high level, but at least the high that we had in April. So APTOS is one that I'm watching very, very closely. It's set up really nicely for the RSI to have a nice run into the power zone as well. Everything's just lined up really, really well. So we could have a bit of a change of liquidity narrative. SUI's run, SEI might go, APTOS might go as well. So watch that on the charts. POPCAT. Now, it's a little bit difficult to, call this, find a cherry ripe right now, basically most of the moves have been done, but I want to talk more broadly about POPCAT. So POPCAT's made new all-time highs, one of the few charts that has actually made a conclusive all-time high, and it looks like it just is pulling back really nicely into a little bit of a higher low here above the all-time high breakout. So you see here this wedge broke clearly out. This here, we do have to be a little bit careful that it doesn't close beneath the dollar level. I think that's a really conclusive level we do not want to lose. But if we just have a nice little pullback here to the 10 EMA on that white line, and then a bit of a reload, maybe at the lowest back down to maybe a 0.786 retracement, all the way down to, let's see, maybe down to there, $1.70, that kind of area. That's all fine, and that would be a nice little reload to go high, give you some liquidity. The RSI is still maintaining fairly strong levels. I'd love to see it back into the 70s. This is just sort of looking like maybe a descending wedge here that's moving into this zone before it move out. So you've got to pay attention to strength. When something's making an all-time high, there are reasons, and it's likely got a lot more momentum behind it. They should do really well throughout the cycle. There was something I wanted to also throw out there to you guys. It eludes me right now. But if you could get active in the groups, that would be amazing. Start posting charts. I can see it already. People are getting a little more active and see the market improving. Make sure to do that. We love to see it. So get in the Discords, also send us a message. We're going to get a lot more active as well. So that's really important, I think. But hope you have a wonderful day. Also, that's what I wanted to mention. If you're not aware, we actually have a podcast. So all these videos that I do for you guys, it goes into, iTunes Store. You can listen on Spotify. You can listen to these on the go. I'm going to have a bit more focus on that going forward, describing what I'm actually doing on the charts in sort of video format, but also taking into account that people do listen to this on the podcast. And I want to have a refocus along those lines. So if you weren't aware, we do have a podcast. You can listen to these sort of bite-sized listens, 5 to 10 minutes, when you're free at work or out and about. So have a wonderful day. We'll catch you again next time. See you guys. Bye.